you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to another TNI Live edition. It is Wednesday, and we've got quite a bit to go over today. We had some late breaking news just before going on, which I wanted to share with you guys, and just a number of other things, including Hasbro had another fan stream, their second of 2025, this time with the Star Wars brand team. So we're going to go over that stuff as well. But let's just do a quick roll call and see who is in the house before we dive into today's news. So Austin is in the house. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you. 777. What is up? Miss Mike Manchur is in the house. Good to see you. Phil is in the house. Good to see you as well. John is in the house from Ireland. As always, very good to see you. And Everett is here as well. Everybody really excited for X-Men 97 Wave 3. Probably going to be a little ways for that one, but yes, I'm sure those will be pretty cool. Benjamin is also in the house. Good to hear from you. And Happy Butters Blast is here as well. Nice avatar picture there of your cats, I assume. All right, so let us get into the news. As I said, we've got quite a bit to go over. Let's just start with some Marvel news, which don't have a whole lot for you on that front today. We do have a new Hot Toys figure from the Winter Soldier. This is the Artisan Edition version. This is not yet gone up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store yet, but probably will fairly soon. I don't have any pricing information on this yet, but if you're into Hot Toys, the Winter Soldier from the Captain America movie, then this is one that you're going to want to check out. You got multiple heads, including the ones with the masks, which he doesn't really ever wear anymore. He's got the Soviet Union arm with the star, his original arm. He's got various weapons. He's got a Hydra base and multiple pairs of hands. And he has a dirtied up Captain America shield, which he caught when Cap threw it at him in the movie. So, again, this figure is not yet gone up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store, but likely will soon. There's some close-ups of the head sculpt. I don't know. From Hot Toys, I feel like maybe that could look a little better. But better with the mask, definitely. Hair looks good. Hair looks very realistic, but the face is maybe a little bit off from the actor. You get the separate rolling eyeball feature as well, so that can help a little bit. All right, now the only other thing on Marvel I wanted to share with you is I've been doing some digging since we last talked last week, specifically in regards to that Maximum series Spider-Man figure that was announced during the last live stream, the Hasbro live stream last week. So I've been trying to figure out what the price is going to be. I can't give you a definitive 100% answer. Initial indications I saw was it would be $49.99, but then I've also been told that Hasbro has not yet finalized the price, so I suppose it's possible that could change. However, a couple other things to note. When Hasbro released the official information on all the figures they showed off last year, during the live stream, the only figure that did not have pricing information was the Spider-Man figure. And then I was listening to Dan Young on, I believe it was Unparalleled Universe's live stream last Friday. And when they started talking about this figure and pricing, Dan Young wouldn't give the price, but he did say, nobody's forcing you to buy this figure. So my takeaway from that was, yeah, this is going to be expensive. So again, I won't say 100%, As I said in the last live stream, my guess was 45 to 50, so I'm still kind of sticking with that. But definitely, it is looking more and more like it is going to be on the higher side price. Now, as some people like to point out, um, if you're comparing this to a Mafex figure, it is still cheaper than a Mafex figure. Um, Most articulated figure that they've done for Marvel Legends, packed with a ton of accessories. So if you're really, if you are really comparing this to a Mafex or an SH Figure Arts, then price is still, reasonable. I don't know how many people who collect Marvel Legends. This is something you guys can decide. I don't collect enough Mafex figures to be be able to give you a good, like, this Mafex is much better than Marvel Legends for this reason or that reason. So, but I also get the point of view of Marvel Legends $20 figure, $25 figure, and now with some extra accessories, $50 seeming high. So, like I said, you guys can hash all that out. And again, final price is still not 100% known, but I am expecting it. Like I say, if you're budgeting for this thing, if you're planning on pre-ordering it on February 13th, my advice is budget for $50. If it is lower, you will be pleasantly surprised. But that would be my advice: is if you're looking to budget for this to be able to buy it, I would plan for $50. All right, let's jump over to Star Wars, because, like I said, we did have a number of new reveals today during Hasbro's live stream. Fairly short live stream, so not a ton. Um, we've had official images released since the actual live stream, so that's what I'm showing you here. So Vintage Collection, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Clone Trooper, 501st Legion figure, and all these are going up for pre-order tomorrow. And these should be, except for there is one Hasbro Pulse exclusive with the Battle Droid Army Builder set, but everything else should be a general release and be available everywhere at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, including, of course, our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. So again, this is for Vintage Collection. If you need yet another Clone Trooper for your collection, we also are getting from the Ahsoka series, Balin's Skull. So no cloak or anything, just the lightsaber. So not too bad looking for a vintage scale figure. From the Ahsoka series, from the Between Both Worlds, as they call it, the flashback scenes type things. Mandalorian Super Commando, which I believe we've gotten in the vintage collection before, so this is maybe some slight modifications, with the Darth Maul type helmets and stuff. So that is coming to the vintage collection. Going with Skull is Shin Hati. She's getting a figure for vintage collection finally. There's the two together. Scale between the two seems to be pretty decent. So again, for you vintage collection fans, these will all be going up for pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. For you Black Series, again, a few more Ahsoka series figures. Again, from the Between Two Worlds thing, from the Ahsoka series, Anakin Skywalker and Clone, in his Clone Wars look. So this one might be fairly popular for you Anakin fans. Got the soft goods. Looks pretty good. Hayden Christensen. Also, Phase 1 version of Clone Captain Rex, also from the same flashback stuff from the Ahsoka series. Has a removable helmet, blonde hair. This is using the new clone body. So if you haven't gotten enough Captain Rex figures in your collection, you've got this new one that you can add, which do always seem to sell pretty well. Again, both of these figures will be going up for pre-order tomorrow at your local favorite retailer. $24.99 each on those. And then, as I mentioned, the one store exclusive, Hasbro Pulse exclusive, also will later be available on the Disney Shop Disney website, is this new Battle Droid pack, 4-pack. So you get the Commander Battle Droid with the yellow. The legs have been retooled, stiffer plastic, so hopefully they won't fall over so easy, like previous Battle Droids that they've done for Vintage Collection. The deco is a little bit different, but again, if you want to army build these guys, will be, and again on Hasbro Pulse, these will be going up tomorrow 1 p.m. Later on the Shop Disney website. And cost of that one is $54.99. They did not give any kind of pipeline reveals during the stream today. So, like I said, it was a pretty short live stream. Really, the only other thing is they gave us an updated look. They said everyone who backed the Ghost HasLab should have their Ghost in hand by now. And then the only other thing that they showed was they gave us an updated look at the figures that will be included with the Cantina. I hate when I do that. I just realized that you guys can't see this. I didn't have the screen up. Sorry about that. All right, so this is the Cantina HasLab figures. These are prototypes, so they will differ from final versions, but giving us an updated look at that. And since you weren't actually looking at what I was showing you in the images before, just go over them real quick. So this is the Vintage Collection stuff, the Clone Command on the Phase 1 body, Valen Skull figure, Mandalorian Super Commando, and the Shin Hati figure. Again, these are all Vintage Collection. There's the two together. Also Vintage Collection, the Battle Droid set. This is Hasbro Pulse. Typical white packaging. And then finally for Black Series, Anakin from Clone Wars, based on his appearance in the Ahsoka live action series. And Commander Rex. Or Captain Rex, I should say. Again, this will be using the new clone body that they recently started doing. Okay, so that's your Star Wars news for the day. Now, I mentioned earlier, breaking news right before going on. Thanks to Comic Book, we have our first look at the new mashup line of Thundercats and He-Man figures that Mattel is doing. They announced this, I think it was San Diego Comic-Con. They first announced they were going to be doing these. So these are essentially just like the Turtles of Grayskull, same type of scale, all of that. Masters of the Universe Origins. So this is your first wave. So this is Lion-O. Looks pretty good. And I mean, I feel like you can make these, you can remove some of these armor pieces. So you can basically have a fairly normal looking Lion-O if that's what you want to go with like your He-Man Origins figures. Cheetara. I like that head sculpt. This one, I like this one. Like, I don't know if I'm going to collect this line or not, but I may end up, even if I don't like go all in on this line, I may get this one. Battle Cat Man, Mumra, the Skeletor, Havoc Staff type head, alternate head if you want. So again, you can basically have him look like just normal Mumra if you'd rather. So so far they're just being listed as Masters of the Universe, Thundercats mashup. We don't know if there's going to be a clever name like, Cats of Grayskull or something like that. I'm sure they're going to do probably some type of mini comics and art and all that for this line, just like they did with the Turtles. So we don't have really much in the way of the backstory of this, but I'm sure those details will come. The Skelra Mumra figure is $29.99. The other figures are going to be $19.99. No word yet on exactly when they're going to be available. I assume they should be available at places like, pretty much everywhere that carries the Turtles of Grayskull. It's always possible they could give a big box store a first to shelf jump on them. I don't know, but again, our first look at these. If you're into Thundercats and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, like I say, I feel like if you've been wanting like Super Seven's doing those retro-esque Thundercats as well, but these will probably be identical as far as Masters of the Universe origin. So if you've been looking to combine those two lines with Thundercats, this is probably the way to go. Just real quick, Toy DNA, The Curse of Dead. You may have been seeing a lot of toy influencers have been showing these off. Um, it's a Kickstarter currently. So Big Bad Toy Store, like with many Kickstarter figures, has decided to take pre-orders for them. So these will only go forward if the Kickstarter actually reaches its funding goal, which I don't believe it has at this time, but I think there's still plenty of time left. So a lot of toy veterans are behind this line. Playing with Myself, which is his online handle, Adam Van Winkler, you may know. He's one of the people behind this line. So look pretty cool. Again, I personally don't really do a lot in the way of independent figures, but they look pretty cool if you like kind of like skeletal type demons and things like that. This guy has a very jack-o'-lantern look to him. Fly. And detail in the back there, that's pretty grotesque. I mean, if that's your thing, these are ones that you might want to check out. These are 1/12 scale figures, um, so I assume they go with your Marvel Legends and things like that. New pre-orders went up today for you Walking Dead fans. We talked about these last week, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but new 5-inch figures, again, for action figures this time around, McFarlane's doing 5-inch figures for Walking Dead. I don't know why they didn't do 7-inch, but again, 5-inch is the scale they went with. So those are available, $19.99 each. There's also a 4-pack of Dead Walkers if you want to get those. Also available at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. That's $80, and a statue also went up. So of Rick Grimes. So again, talked about those last week. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on those. I did want to shoot you an update. We saw these during the McFarlane Toys show last month, but we got new preview images. These are going up for pre-order tomorrow. It's the next round of collector edition figures. So Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Power Girl, which will come with her cat, and Captain Cold. So a preview of the platinum version slipped out, I think, from Entertainment Earth. So Captain Cold with blue skin, Power Girl with a jacket and alternate version of Guy Gardner there with the blue outfit. So those should be the Platinum Edition figures. We'll get better looks at those tomorrow. There was also, McFarlane was at the Toy Depot show out in California this past weekend. So these images come via MCU Collector. So again, these are figures that we saw during the McFarlane Collector show, just getting more of an in-hand look at them. So the Batman, Kristen Bale Batman figure, updated Batman figure with the soft goods cape. So a new look at that. There again is a look at the Guy Gardner figure, Power Girl figure with her cat. I don't know what version of Flash this is supposed to be. So if one of you know, feel free to chime in on the comments. But another Flash figure from McFarlane Toys. That Dark Knight Returns black figure with the, where you recreate the comic cover. Superman base not included, but the, Christopher Reeve Superman. Some of the Batmobiles, recent Batmobiles. There's Captain Cold still in the packaging. The Fleischer Superman figure. Tempest. The updated new Michael Keaton Batman with the cape, the glider cape. Again, they showed that off at the toy show, the online virtual event last month. But a new look at that. So nothing we hadn't seen before, but again, just updated looks. And again, remember, tomorrow is the pre-order for those new collector edition figures, which probably will sell out pretty quickly. Those seem to sell pretty fast. So if you want to get any of those, I would recommend that you be online. They'll go up at 12 p.m. Eastern time. I can't say for sure, but like I say, they do seem to have a tendency to sell out pretty quick. Let's see. Jump over to NECA. We've got some new, if you're into Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we've got some new figures that have gone up for pre-order here. Ultimate 50th Anniversary Leatherface, Pretty Woman figure. You can get this at Big Bad Toy Store, and I think Entertainment Earth has this one. I was never a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, so there's all the accessories he comes with. That's one of two that went up for pre-order. A bunch of the stuff that had been up at pre-order at other places went up at Entertainment Earth, but this was the second one. This is the, again, 50th anniversary, just regular ultimate version. So again, places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth have this one. It's kind of rounding out things, I think. For you Star Trek fans. So over at the London Toy Fair that's going on this weekend, thanks to Bruno Billion, hopefully I pronounced that right, but he's the one that took these images. So it's a new line from a company called Master Replicas, which went out of business, but then came back. Used to specialize in replicas and stuff, but now it looks like they're venturing out into action figures. So originally I thought these were going to be like 6 or 7 inch figures, but it turns out these are going to be 4.5 inch figures. So Strange New Worlds, Spock there, getting a glimpse of it. Bradward Mormir from the Lower Decks animated series is getting a figure. Captain Picard, or Admiral Picard, I should say, from season 3 of the Picard series. These are mock-ups. Again, these are on display at an overseas toy fair, so, it's possible these could change, especially the packaging. Again, it's just for mock-up, so this is not anything final. I will say with this Riker, also from Picard season 3, this Captain Riker, he's way too thin there. Riker has definitely put on a few extra pounds in his elder years, as many of us have. So I feel like they need to beef up that Riker a little bit. But if you're into Star Trek, again, these are 4.5 inch, so more in keeping with like the original Playmates figures. But um, yeah, you might want to keep an eye out for more details on these. And of course, the Nacelle company is doing 112 or 6 or 7 inch scale, more 7 than 6 figures. But the Nacelle license does not include anything from the newer shows. Obviously, Master Replica is doing stuff from the new shows. I think. Oh, for you Mondo fans, 12-inch fans, we saw this at one of the conventions last year. But Batman the Animated Series Clayface has gone up for pre-order. You get a ton of accessories. This piece with Batman fits on his chest, so it looks like Batman. It looks like Batman's been swallowed up, which I think is cool. You get the Batman head. You get multiple Clayface heads. Um, there's that head with the Batman sticking, or that piece with the Batman sticking out. So again, this is a Mondo figure currently available on the Mondo shop. I'm sure some version of it will be available at places like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth at a later date. Though they are saying this is restricted to 1,500 units, $280. Again, available on the Mondo website. Um, Actually, sorry, it looks like it is sold out. So I again though there will be some other version released at a later time, I imagine. So if you missed out on the Mondo Shop web one, you'll probably get another shot at it later on. Just going by what Mondo has done in the past. But yeah, that pretty much brings us up to date on everything I have for you guys today on the action figure news front. So now let's go down and see what questions you have or comments that you guys have. Bill says Thundercats Masters of the Universe. I thought Jay said Utters the Mass Figure Collector. Hi from the UK. Hope you and the family are doing well. Same to you, my friend. Marvel News, probably a super expensive Maximum Spidey. Yes. Again, I'm gonna say $50. And if it's lower, then hopefully you'll be pleasantly surprised. But like I say, if you're trying to budget, think if you're gonna try and pre-order it next month, and you're thinking about what you should be budgeting for, I would go high at the $50 mark. And while I was totally guessing on Friday, I've seen some things that suggest, while it may not be completely finalized, so there's not an official price that's been released yet, it is leaning more and more, in my view, to the $50 range. Picked up Secret Wars Spider-Man, Black Suit, and Wolverine figures today. I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store. I've not yet opened any of them, but I got the whole wave. I ended up getting the whole wave from Big Bad Toy Store. Um, I'm actually kind of like, do I want to open? I like the card backs. I like the old Mattel classic card backs from Secret Wars. So I'm a little hesitant. I didn't want to buy two of each, so I haven't quite decided. I may end up getting a second Beyonder to open, but again, I'm kind of on the fence. Buff88, thanks for the vid. Thank you for watching, my friend. Jay looks like is wearing a wig. Oh, who's wearing a wig? Not me. I'm not wearing a wig. Paul Zach, happy hump day. Same to you. Yeah, face looks. Oh. You guys talking about the Hot Toys figure? Yeah, yeah. The hair looks real, but it just I don't know. I mean, real for an action figure at least, which I mean is what you kind of expect from Hot Toys. But Everett, I don't think he has the mask and goggles in the Thunderbolts movie. I could be. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so, but I don't think I recall him wearing it in any of the trailers I've seen. Mike, yes, I have the. We looked at that. What was that? 2 weeks ago now, but mine's back there on the shelf. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a whole shelf uh, right there of Spawn figures, and my medieval Spawn is sitting on the front and center of that shelf. John, good to see you, my friend. Concerning Marvel, I saw a video that somebody got Dark Avengers Warbird. I want to say some folks overseas have already gotten that figure. I lose track. I'm always the last to get anything. So, but I want to say some folks from overseas, like UK, have already gotten that figure. Still haven't heard anything about mine. Figure Fury, what's up? Well, Zach, if it's $50, he is passing. We did run a poll this weekend on Marvelous News about asking people how many people, and obviously this doesn't account for the entire fandom, but I just wanted to get an idea of how many people. So right now in the Marvelous News poll, um, it's fairly evenly split, but right now 19 say no and 16 say yes. So again, obviously that's not representative of, it's a, not an official scientific poll, but I think the figure will sell even at $50. I think it will sell pretty well. I think there's just enough people out there that will like all the accessories and want the best Spider-Man figure to date. Now, as we talked about on Friday, I would not be surprised if at some later date Hasbro reuses that sculpt. I find it hard. It's a brand new sculpt, so I find it hard to believe that they're not going to reuse that sculpt later on. Now, it doesn't mean that whatever they use it on later on won't be pricey as well, but I doubt it's the last time we'll see that sculpt. But regardless, there'll be people that will definitely pass on it because of the price, but I think there'll definitely be people who will buy it. I think overall, at least for online sales, I don't think it's a figure that would sell well at a Walmart or Target, which is why this is being offered online only to essentially adult collectors. So if this got released in any huge numbers at physical retail stores, 100% it would end up collecting dust and end up on discount. But as a limited, somewhat limited collector to only collectors online, I think the figure will probably sell pretty decently. Mr. Allmine, I think it'll be more than 50. And I don't. I think for the Spider-Man figure, I think 50 is the max. I don't think it'll be more than 50. Here in the United States. Overseas, but here in the United States, I think it'll be 50. Now, the second figure, which should be Hulk, a bigger, taller figure, that will be more. And my guess on that one is 65. But again, that is 100% just a complete guess. But Spider-Man, I don't think it'll be more than 50. Mike, lots of people got before Christmas. I still haven't heard anything. So the web lines, are they sculpted on? Yes. I believe they said they were sculpted. I'm buying it, period, and no one is forcing me. Well, I hope nobody would be forcing you to buy anything. If somebody's like holding a gun to your head to make you buy something. But you're going back to Dan Young's. Yeah. When he said that, when you got a guy who's, his job is to try and basically promote and market figures, and he's telling you, well, nobody's forcing you. That to me is, without saying the price, he's saying the price is going to be high. If you think it's too high, nobody's forcing you to buy the figure, is essentially what I took away from his comments to that. If they go above $34.99, they're crazy. I understand not wanting it to be more than 34, but I don't think it's crazy. You look at things like look at the Electro that's $35, and I think that will sell. Um, so no, I don't think it's crazy. Um, in today's going market, I think there are plenty of fans again, and I mean, going back to the Mafex thing, I mean, I think Mafex makes good stuff, but I look at those and I'm like, yeah, those are way, I'm not going to pay that much money for. So, compared to a Mafex, it is going to be still cheaper. At some point, we've had this conversation many, many times. But at some point, as prices go up on these things, it will price certain people out of the market, and that's just inevitable, unfortunately. But we can't see. Oh, yep. I do that. I flip the screen and then I start rambling and then I forget to flip the screen. Sorry. Sean's in the house. What is up? Jay, I'm disappointed in the HasLab Ghost. I assume you got the HasLab Ghost. I did not, so I can only look at pictures. It looked pretty good. I think I've said this before. Like, I did get the one of the few Star Wars HasLabs that I backed was the Mandalorian Razor Crest. And of course, they blew it up before I even got it in hand. So I was a little disappointed from that. But I feel like if I could, I don't have the space for both of them. So like if I could have traded in the Razor Crest for the Ghost, I probably would have gone with the Ghost, just because it lasted longer in the Star Wars universe. But but I'm sorry to hear you're disappointed with it. I haven't heard anyone saying anything bad, but honestly, I have not paid that close attention. My personal interest in Star Wars has really kind of waned away. Like, I don't collect any vintage collection anymore, and I barely buy any Black Series stuff anymore. And like, I can't. If there was stuff you saw in the live stream today you were excited about, like a new Anakin or whatever, I mean, I think that's great. But everything I saw today was just like stuff that we keep getting the same characters over and over and over again, and I just kind of grown bored with it. So, um, yeah, I am, you I maybe my toe still dipped in the Star Wars figure, buying, but I am very close to kind of just walking away from Star Wars these days. And while like I watched the Skeleton Crew show and I thought it was okay. I mean, it was for what it was trying to do with the kids and stuff, family oriented, I guess, that type of thing. I thought it was okay, but at the same time, I was like, I probably will never go back and rewatch that series again, um, which is pretty common for Star Wars and me today. And honestly, same thing with Marvel. It's been, I mean, Deadpool, Wolverine, I've watched multiple times, but I used to go back and rewatch Marvel movies all the time, and I just don't really anymore. So, maybe the newer stuff coming out, Avengers, Doomsday and all that stuff, Secret Wars, that stuff will revitalize. But right now, I'm just kind of lukewarm on all that stuff, and more so with Star Wars than Marvel. Like, I am pretty excited for the Daredevil series coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that's going to be good. But like Andor season 2, it's the next Star Wars. I'm like, I'll watch it. I thought season 1 was okay. Be kind of interesting to see how they lead up to Rogue One, which is what season 2 is supposed to do. It's basically supposed to take us right up to the beginning of Rogue One, which I liked. I thought Rogue One is one of the better recent, more modern Star Wars movies that they've done. But like, I'm not like sitting here just dying to see Andor season 2. Figure Fury, those Masters of the Universe Thundercats look super good. Yeah, I mean, I think those they look good. I'm not looking to really collect. I stopped collecting Origin stuff a while ago, and I'm pretty happy with the Super 7 Thundercats. So Like I don't really feel like I need these. Like I say, I may get the Battle Cat Man, but it's not that they don't look good. It's not something I really have a need for. So I probably will not go heavy in on this line, but nothing so far from these images that I'm complaining about either. Leatherhead for hire, Jay Sizzle. DC Comics already did Masters of the Universe Thundercats comic run. Come on, mine is. Yeah, but it wasn't like it wasn't a mashup like where this is a mashup. This is where they're taking characteristics from both characters from Masters and Thundercats and combining them. It's not just a crossover. It's not a crossover type thing. This will have its own separate store, I'm sure, just like Turtles of Grayskull and everything. AJ, good afternoon. Did I miss anything? A little bit, but hopefully you've been caught up. Wally West Dark Flash. Thank you. I could not place that. I thought it was like the silver colors, Wally West. I thought of that, but then like I Googled it and I couldn't come up with anything that looked like that costume. So it was bothering me. I asked a couple people and they didn't know. So just for these images, MCU collector from the Toy Depot show, but I didn't know what this Flash was from. So and it was another repaint of Flash. I don't know how many different versions of Flash we've gotten in this line, but I couldn't place the specific scene. So thank you, Phil, for clearing that up for me. Let's see. There was one other thing. Let me see if I can find it. Heat Boys. Oh, well, we talked. I think we. Actually, two things. So, for you Last Ronin fans, a new Casey Jones Night Watcher figure. We got the official images. This has not yet gone up online, but in the lost years, this is again from NECA. I've not read this story, but I like the look of this figure with the black and red grayish colors. But then also from Heat Boys, a Mecha Shredder figure. If you've been collecting these mech figures, it's pretty cool. Like the cape. So this has not gone up for pre-order here in the U.S. I don't think at places like Big Bad Toy Store yet, but likely will soon. But I just wanted to share that with you because I forgot about those. John says, I understand that the maximum figures will be more, but their reasoning of a new sculpt affecting the price doesn't feel right. They didn't charge extra for the buck. Well, I think that's an added bonus. I don't think they're necessarily saying it's just because they came up with a new sculpt. I think a large part of it is all the accessories and like extra paint decos that a regular Marvel Legend, things like that. You could argue add to the cost. Yeah, I since we never see actual price breakdowns on any of these figures, I'm hesitant to sit there and debate. Well, is it really worth this much, and how much of a markup is it? And blah blah blah. That's where I usually go. If it's something you want, get it. If you've got the $50, buy it. If you don't. And I think going back to Dan Young's comment, again, not sure it's the best thing I would say is somebody who's working in marketing, but if you're looking at that figure and you're going, this is not worth $50, then don't buy it. That's what he's basically saying, and I think that's something completely reasonable. But going back to that's crazy that they're going to sell it for $50. Well, not if people pay $50. And again, I'm not saying they're ripping you off. I don't know. I don't know what the price is, and I don't know how much of a markup is. And again, I imagine they'll reuse that mold, and they will, find other ways to get their money out of that brand new sculpt, like they always do. But at the end of the day, if you're basing your decisions, I can look around this room, and there's probably more things than not in here that I could point to and say, you know what, that's probably not really worth what I paid for it from a completely material, cost production standpoint. But I get the enjoyment out of it, and therefore it was worth paying for. And that's, I think how you have to look at all these things, because, it is what it is. And unfortunately, I don't think complaining about it is really going to change it either. Like, people can spend every waking moment complaining about stuff online, but it's not really going to affect change. It's not going to make them go, you know what, we should probably look. I mean, maybe a little bit. Like, if they truly have not set the price on that figure and they're listening to people's feedback, and they probably have some little bit of a window that they can work in, maybe they lower it a couple bucks. But that's why I say 45 to 50, because I think MSRP was going to be 49. But say, maybe they lower it down to 45 because they've been hearing feedback. But at the end of the day, it's not like if they're going to sell this at $49.99, they're not going to go, you know what, we better change it to $35. They're just, because they don't, whether you guys believe it or not, I don't think they mark up their figures that much. Fellow Jay, what is up? Jay Dioramas 2.0, good to hear from you. Andor season 1 was good. I didn't say it was bad. I just said it's not like the best Star Wars. Like, I thought Rogue One was much better than Andor season 1. And as far as Disney Plus series, nowhere near as good as like Mandalorian season 1 and 2, or even like the cartoons. I mean, honestly, some of your best modern day Star Wars has come from the cartoon side of things. Clone Wars, Rebels. That's really been some of your best Star Wars in recent times. But as far as live action stuff, Mandalorian season 1 and 2 has probably been my favorite Star Wars live action stuff. But Andor wasn't bad, but I just wasn't blown away by it either. Which is kind of the same thing with Skeleton Crew. I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed the episodes as I watched them. I would have probably enjoyed it more if I had watched them all together as opposed to once a week. But I wasn't like blown away by it. And if there isn't a second season, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it either. Alonzo says definitely getting the maximum Spider-Man. Peeps always talking about price and worth. I agree, Jay. If you want it, no, it's get it, no biggie. 777 was blunt, and that's the other thing. Everybody has different opinions. Everybody looks at things differently. So, if you loved Andor, I know somebody who loves Skeleton Crew. They sit there and tell me how great it was, and they hate Andor. They sit there and tell me how much they hate Andor, and I'm just like, I thought both were decent, but I didn't. So, we all have different opinions, and that's cool. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean you don't have to like it, or vice versa, or whatever. Everyone, my biggest complaint with Acolyte was it was like a half a story that we're never going to get the conclusion of. So I felt like I just wasted my time watching that season, because we're never going to find out anything, you know. So that's my biggest complaint. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I didn't hate it. But I would have liked to have seen, you know, the outcome. Um, you know, the guy hiding in the cave and stuff. But you know, show didn't more. I think it was more about the show's cost than its viewership. But I don't know. I mean, I heard, and I haven't deep dived, but I heard Skeleton Crew, at least the first episodes, didn't get great ratings either. So I don't know if we'll see a second season, but I feel like Skeleton Crew at least was, they could do another season, but if it ended and they didn't do any more, you know, we got a fairly complete story, which I, you know, from that standpoint, I definitely like much more than Skeleton, or than the Acolyte series. Soul died for nothing if we don't find out what happened. Well, did he die? I don't think he died. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm going back to act. Yeah. I also like a lot of these newer characters. Like I get their names in my head, but then I forget them because they just didn't stand out that much. All right. Well, we're getting close to the hour. I don't. We'll play Friday by ear. It will probably depend on if there's a lot of news between now and then. If there's really no news, I probably won't do a video on Friday. Yeah, I try and do 3 a week if there's the news to warrant it. But yeah, we're kind of still early in the year, that slow period. So we'll play it by ear on Friday. Though do remember, if you want those new DC collector figures, they go up for pre-order tomorrow. The Guy Gardner, the Power Girl, and the Captain Cold. So, and again, I can't swear to it, but just based on past figures of those figures, they've sold out pretty quickly, the pre-orders at least. So if you do want those, I probably would recommend you try and be online. Or yeah, they might not sell out in minutes, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the day they sell out at the main places like Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, Amazon, McFarlane Store, things like that. So again, those go up for pre-order at 12 p.m. tomorrow. Star Wars figures, the reveals from today also go up for pre-order tomorrow. Those go up at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Those I don't think will sell out that quickly, but just, you know, just so you know, they go up for pre-order tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it. As always, guys, thank you very much. As usual, shout out to all you action figure enthusiast members. Those of you who have chosen to become action figure enthusiasts, which if you haven't and you want to, there's a link in the video description below to do that. We've also launched new contests over on Marvelous News and Toy News International, the message boards for $100 store credits like we do every month. So the newest contest just launched the other day, so links to those in the video description as well. But as always, guys, you know, thank you for tuning in today. Stay safe out there. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. And I just totally missed the camera with the pen. Now I'm going to have to climb back there and grab the pen. Anyway, take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,